Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about Ashra. Today's video, we're going to break her down. We're going to start by looking at her basic attacks, her combo attacks, and her special attacks. And we're going to figure out what our options are against this character because Ashra is really, really strong in this game. She is a little bit more difficult to use, but she is such a strong character. So we need to know what our options are if we stand any hope against her. So, that being said, let's get into it.
Accept your death.
So starting with her normal attacks, she is just strong. Like I said, like back 2 is really good, advancing, safe, mid. If I will say anything about Ashra is that she's just a little bit on the slow side, but with how good her buttons are, it totally makes sense. She needs some sort of a weakness. Her sweep is actually +1 on block, which is very good, keeping her with the advantage into like a quick little down 1 unless you're against Johnny Cage. But there's 2 moves in particular that I want to kind of show a little bit more of than the rest. First one is her forward 2. So I see a lot of Ashras just throw this out. Now the thing with this move, it's good range, it's safe on block at -2, but it is a high. So myself as Shang Tsung, because I have a pretty decent down 4, if I see an Ashra do this, I just let go of block and I hit the down 4 to get my turn back. So play around with your character and see if there's anything you can do, because again, if your opponent is just ducking here and not blocking at all, this just misses, and then you're like right in their face for like a punish, unless you space it quite properly right out here. But still, she lunges forward, so that kind of puts her into the range and she can't really move back. So just knowing that is half the battle. So that's the first move that we want to highlight here. The second one I was getting smacked with a lot when I was first fighting and trying to understand the character, and that's her forward 3, which is a kind of leaping overhead. Sometimes she crosses you up, sometimes she doesn't. Thank goodness this isn't Injustice, but that doesn't matter as much. But she can also cancel this into her upward swing. It is kind of a hard read kind of a thing, depending on how good the Ashra is for sure. So there's one good way to defend against this, and this was actually just added into the game with the most latest patch, which was 2 days ago, I think. If you just block this, she can cancel that, like I said, into the special move. That's going to be -35, but she has ways to make it safe. But if you actually see this coming and up block it, she can't cancel it into that special move. Here's me actually hitting the up block. But even though I have the AI recorded to do the move, you'll see that the move does not come out if you up-block that overhead. What's a Johnny Cage punish? 4-3? There you go. So that is a good thing to know. The move is pretty quick for what it is, like 23 frame startup. So this isn't going to be something viable you're doing all the time, but if you're playing against an Ashra and you see them kind of abusing this strat, you can definitely use this to your advantage to up-block that and stop the cancel into the special move from coming out afterwards. So getting into her combo strings now, we have the 1-2-2. And this is a good fast, probably a punish string. It starts the first hit 7 frames. You want to look out for that. And then this is also special cancelable into whatever special move she wants to do. There's just an example. And it's also hit confirmable, which means that after the 3rd hit, I can enter a special move and it will come out. So an Ashra can actually wait and see if this move hits and either stop it to be safe at -7, or if they react in time, go into the whatever special move you want to go into. That's another one, unsafe, but we'll get into that later. Her 2-1 is a combo starter, which puts you in kind of like a crumple state, so you see your opponent's kind of like writhing in pain there for a second, and Ashra comes in and waha into whatever combo. You probably won't see Ashra players throw this out too much. I mean, it does have a little bit of like a jab range there to kind of hit you. I see it used mostly as a punish, but if there are any Ashra mains out there, I'm sure you'll correct me. But yeah, that's just a combo starter. 2-1. I like that they added like crumple combos into this game, something that they've never done before. I think it's super cool. The more ways to combo, the better. Mortal Kombat is better with combos. 2-2-3 is an extremely staggerable string. So first hit -6, 7 hit is a low. Be careful of that. It's a little tricky little low. All the little swipes and stuff that she has can get kind of confusing over what's hitting low and what's hitting overhead. So just be aware of that. Then she can end it with like a little mid kick at the end and still -6. So all of this completely safe string to just kind of throw out there. No gaps in it either. I couldn't find any armor gaps. And I'm using Johnny Cage, who has like the fastest armored reversal in the game. Pretty certain. But yeah, good string. 2-2-3. Back 2-2 is a mid overhead. -5. You cannot outblock the overhead. There's too much block stun for you to actually switch into the upblock state. So you're just kind of forced to hold it. Fairly decent at 15 frames startup. And safe on block at -5. So she's just kind of got to throw this out. So this is where you kind of got to be like a little bit careful about you got your high low. And just kind of pay attention to the animations. Because she's swirling. She's going all over the place. You definitely need to be aware of. Because just knowing that there's a mix-up on the second hit isn't exactly that great. In essence here, while we're going over it, you could technically fuzzy guard this. So that's high-low. The low in this one is 14 frames. And the overhead in this one is 19 frames. So if you block on the second hit low overhead really quick, you'll block both of these. If you're a little bit unsure about what the animation looks like, just know that the low comes out faster, the overhead comes out afterwards. So just a little tip that you might find useful. There's actually a little bit more to this move than what we're going over here, but I'm going to go into that a little bit later because this is a complicated character, but she's really cool. Back 3-1, another one with just ridiculous range, safe on block, and this is why Ashra is just so good. Like, you kind of have to dance around her range, and like in general, I think that's kind of how you have to play, is understand where she kind of wants to be, and either stay away from her, just throw stuff at her the whole time, or just be up in her grills because she is a little bit slow to get stuff going. So, but yeah, back 3-1, super cool move, long range on that back 3. And, hey, it comes out on whiff too, that's pretty cool. -7 on block. Busted. Just kidding, not actually. So this is one of her better strings here. This starts with a 12 frame mid, which is very good in this game. Forward 4-2. Again, second hit is an overhead, so if you keep our fuzzy guarding from earlier, where you block low first and then block high, you'll block this move in addition to this move as well. So that's kind of the sauce for blocking Ashra, but you don't really get much from blocking it because this is another one that's an incredibly staggerable string. -4, -7. If she completes the whole thing, -7. So she's not getting punished either way. Again, Ashra is all about spacing. Just make sure you know where she wants to be, where you want to be. Play your game accordingly because there's not really a whole lot you can do against these strings once they kind of get on there, other than just block them and then hope to take your turn back afterwards. So Ashra has these stances, right? So she's got her Heaven Blade, then she's got the Summoning the Darkness where she goes purple. And this kind of changes the attributes of some of her moves, which when I mentioned we're going to get back to there earlier, that's what we're talking about right now, is how this changes her moves. So for example, in her regular light, she has this special move, down forward 1. It's a slow startup at 40, but I mean, it's really, really plus on hit. But a lot of Ashras I see will just try and throw this out in the middle of a string. Don't let them get away with that, or she's just going to keep being plus, and that sucks for you. So try and react as best you can as soon as you see this. In block pressure anyways. But if she's in her darkness mode, that becomes a low attack. You kind of lose the plus on blockness. It's a little bit faster at 28 frames. And then it'll put a debuff on you. And she can stack up to 3 debuffs on you, and it starts to change kind of how her moves work. She only gets this darkness for a certain amount of time, and it goes away. Or else she changes back to the light stance. This is such a cool character. Like, she does seem pretty fun. I might learn her. I remember earlier when we were talking about the back 2-2, and I said I was going to come back to this one later. So if she does her little darkness stance and she hits you with something that gives you a little darkness buff, if she's back to the light, she hits you with this one. Now that move becomes a launcher. It wasn't a launcher before, it just ended there. But if she has the dark debuff on you and then she wants to cleanse you with the light afterwards, you know, then that's gonna launch you for a combo. And then she's got a combo off this really good safe mid overhead string. So that's pretty crazy, am I right? All the Ashras that I've been seeing played so far haven't even been using the dark stance yet. So I feel there's just so much to this character just hasn't even been explored. And I love things like that, like stacking or different moves and just having to keep track of your resources. That's kind of cool. I've never really been a fan of like playing with a second moveset kind of a thing, but this game totally changed my mind on that. In Shang Tsung, Shujinko, and now Ashra, I mean, it's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little excited for this concept. So another one with the dark debuff on is this string here. Launches. So this safe overhead string here, that normally we'd kick away. If we end up having one dark build, it now launches. Here's an example of a combo. 269 damage. No meter. Just a little resources there. That's all you needed. So, changing the properties of a couple of her moves to get her some extra combo launchers I think is really good with this character. Really big-brained. So you want to kind of keep an eye out, especially to make sure that you know when you have that debuff going, because you'll see these little purple things kind of dancing around your feet. And then, of course, like I said, she can stack them, so she can have up to 3. And that means 3 uses of whatever launcher she wants to use. They do go away after time, so be aware of that. But yeah, that is just one more layer to the cake of Ashra. Just make sure that you're managing and understanding that when you have that buff on, she's going to get some buffs to her moves, so you want to watch out. Next special move we have is Astral Projection, which is one of the best armored moves in the game, in my opinion. It has 2 hits of armor, and she kind of just throws herself through you. I'm going to pick a different character to show this off with than Johnny Cage, because I'm not sure that really does what I want to show you. So she can either do this move to kind of blow through you, to get out of a corner or something like that, or she can charge it to really travel and change the distance. Some Ashras like to use this to move in. The only downside to this, though, is that Ashra is still vulnerable when she's in her state before she teleports. There we see she tanked 2 hits of armor before she got hit. But if she gets hit with 3 hits, her move is toast. There you go. So 2 hits of armor. This is, again, a really specific scenario here. But yeah, you hit her 3 times while she's standing in spot. Even though her astral projection is invulnerable, she is the one that you want to hit out of this at the end. Alternatively, because this move is actually unsafe on block, although just a little bit. Minus 13. There isn't much pushback though, so you can wait, you can block it, and then try and punish her for that as well. So that's another way to do it. A little bit more awkward if she's on the other side of you because you're working with recovery frames, but I don't find a lot of Ashras do that unless she's stuck in the corner. Most of them will just kind of try and teleport up to you to kind of move past your projectiles. So block and punish, or if they move past you, try and whiff punish it. I personally find it quite difficult to get the timing between when they're going to come in front of me or phase through on the backside. So you can also cancel this move, kind of fake you out a little bit. It's actually a fairly quick cancel, 21 recovery frame. That's crazy. And then she also has a slice move where she holds down and does this. It's not giving me any sort of block advantage or any information on it for whatever reason, but it looks a little bit unsafe. Any Ashra players out there could maybe confirm/deny that for me, but it looks like a little bit more unsafe than just if she does it regularly. But again, it does have a really weird hitbox. Like, it whiffs a lot. Like, it's almost like I have to be like right in the middle of the opposing character, otherwise it just completely misses like that. So I don't know what's going on there. Something funky. Some funky business is where I. You can also do this move in the air, so you can jump over and do it. Similar idea. She can use this a lot in her combo extenders. I don't really see her just kind of throwing this out at you, unless it's a hard anti-air read, but there are better things you could do there. But yeah, mostly used to extend her combos. God's Wrath will be one of her combo enders. Just like a multi-hitting strike. It is unsafe on block, though, so if an Ashra is not properly hit confirming, make sure to blow her up. She's minus 21. Enhanced version, a little bit faster, still minus 21. A little bit more damage on the enhanced version too. But again, a good Ashra will be hit confirming this, like from a string like that, or using it to end a combo. If you do see an Ashra player just throwing this out, please don't let them get away with it. Just full combo punish. That's a full combo punish with whatever your character's got. I know you got something in there. I know it. I believe in you. I do. Light Ascension is one of her main combo starters, so she launches you into the air. The enhanced one she can cancel into special moves afterwards to kind of keep the combo going. See if I can give you an example of what a combo with her might look like. That's kind of what part of her combo would look like. So yeah, this one is just kind of a launcher. When you enhance it, you're able to actually do like a string or something afterwards in the air. You cancel into whatever special moves. So yeah, I've seen a lot of Ashras just kind of throw this out. That you can definitely just jump up and punish her in the air, especially if she does that on block. If you block that on her, she's a little dead. The enhance, you do have to be a little bit careful because she can attack afterwards. But main one, like yeah, you can just definitely go up and get an air punish. Most characters have some sort of an air punish you can get. Even with young Shang here, who doesn't get the best stuff, you can still jump up. And like you saw there, it'll generally punish her on the opposite side of where she kind of starts the move. So just be aware of that. She's very floaty after that. But again, Ashras can hit confirm it and just use the air dash to kind of get away from you. But they've already spent a bar to do the flippity doodle up move anyways. So at least you've taken a little bit of their resources, if nothing else, if they're not hit confirming stuff. So that's good. Now we're going into her dark stance, a little bit more of that. So our move in light, which is this one we went over. 40 startup frames, super plus on block, but also super slow. When we do that exact same input, we get a little bit faster. 28 frames, we get a low attack. And this is actually directional. So we can do down, back, down, forward, and then back to have a close one. Just the regular input. Whoops, sorry, I switched back there. Just the regular input is a middle one. And we hold forward to go into a far one. So this is actually insane counter zoning because, yeah, it knocks down. But then we can kind of move in. And also we get a stack of our darkness on there. So once we turn back into light mode, then we can start hitting them with some crazy combos. Another interesting thing in this stance is that her teleport is different in that she won't come out with an attack unless you do the spirit slice. So if they're waiting to punish you to come up and do an attack on block and they're not paying attention, oh, surprise, it didn't actually attack you. This has less recovery frames as well than just her regular stance. So you can use it for a little bit more mobility if you're just trying to get around the map a little bit more. And, you know, you have the same armored properties if you use the meter with it. Yeah. And a little bit more to traverse the field than it is to actually attack. So just keep that in mind. And, of course, you can always tell when she has it on because her blade is purple. And if her blade is not... Blade does not stay yellow, of course, in just regular mode. But when her blade is purple, you better watch out. You better not shout. Ooh, no. It's not even Halloween yet. Let's not do that. But down back 2 in the dark stance. The first hit of the move, according to the moves list here, is unbreakable. Sorry, the enhanced one is unbreakable. So if you spend a bar, they can't break it. This would be really good for like closing out a round or something like that. So just be aware if you have like a little bit of health left and Ashra's going into this backward stance, it's going to be unbreakable. So you got to be careful about that. And lastly, she has her upward launcher, which works really similar to the same as her light one. And cancel into that. Duly noted, however, because she only gets the default attack in the light stance, she actually has to go into the slice move. In the dark stance to get some sort of advantage out of that. And of course, all of these attacks that you see will add a sort of charge on there. The low projectile will only add 1 charge per hit, which is pretty good because it's a low projectile. This move will fully charge all 3 hits. And again, you'll know how many hits you have because you got the purple swirling around your waist and your legs. And then see it slowly, 1 goes away. Then slowly the second one will go away. And then lastly, the third one will disappear. But that's a long time to have like lingering effects of these things on you for. So I expect to see Ashra players play around with this a little bit more in the future. But right now, like I said, I've only really been seeing them use her main light stance. No one's really dove much into the dark one yet. It is a little bit unsafe to pull out, so make sure that you kind of punish her if she does that. 42 frames of recovery, so just be aware of that. And that's it. That's our options against Ashra. Every single thing that she can do, what we can kind of do to counter her. If there's anything that you feel that I've missed, or that you know as an Ashra player, really, that people should know about fighting you, put it in the comments down below, because we're all a community. We're going to be covering every single character at some point here. So yeah, if you enjoy videos like this, please help us out and post some comments and let's learn together. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.